On September 7th, 2016, Ammon Bundy will go on trial in Oregon for being charged with an incident that occurred in Harney County, Oregon. What led up to the charges was that Dwight and Stephen Ammon were convicted of crimes in Oregon. The federal judge believed that, given what they did was disproportionate to the minimum mandatory sentence of 5 years in prison, that they should not be given the 5 years in prison. The federal government appealed that sentence, and the Ninth Circuit of the United States court system decreed that the Ammons had to sit all 5 years. There was a protest of this, and some of the protesters went off and started occupying the Malheur Wildlife Refuge in Harney County, Oregon. There was an indictment of Ammon Bundy. He was indicted of 3 charges. One of those charges was dismissed, that charge being use of a firearm while committing a violent crime. I have put a link to the indictment in the description of this video. Before getting into the specific charges, you also have to take note of the federal government's statute with regards to aiding and abetting. That is 18 U.S.C. 2. If you induce someone to commit a crime, then you are just as guilty of the crime as the principal. I've also put a link to a video of Ammon Bundy in the description of this video, and it shows him inducing people to come to the Malheur Wildlife Refuge and occupy it, and to bring arms with them. He further characterizes himself in that video as being the tip of the spear. I will now go over the statutes that he's actually charged with, and the first one is violating 18 U.S.C. 372, which I will now show you. To prove the violation of 18 U.S.C. 372, they have to show, 1, that the person combined with others, and it's clear from all their videos that they got together to occupy the Malheur Wildlife Refuge. 2, they prevented officers of the federal government from doing their duties, and also they intimidated the officers. The intimidation came with when the officers went to do their jobs after the end of the weekend. They were confronted with a bunch of armed people occupying their workspace, and that's where the intimidation comes in. Then he is also charged with violating 18 U.S.C. 930 sub B. I will now put a copy of that statute in. To prove that, there's 2 elements to the offense. 1, they intended to use weapons in commission of the crime. From the video, it's clear that they intended to use arms. And 2nd, they possess firearms on a federal facility. And there's no question that they possessed arms on the federal facility. So since all the elements of the charge are going to be proven, Ammon Bundy will be convicted.